Good morning. Good morning. Hello. Good morning. Welcome once again to Dork, Duck, whatever this is. We still haven't given it a name.
Oh, you're right. I don't know.
Dork, Duck, Digest.
I don't like that.
You don't like Digest?
No, I don't like that.
Dork, Duck, Divulgence.
That sounds wrong too.
Dork, Duck, Ditherings. Dork, Duck, Dronings. Dork, Duck.
Bug is like so done with whatever you're doing
Yeah,
right
no,
now. His
it's
ears are back. He's like, oh my god.
Sam says, good morning. I will be here soon. Good morning, Sam. Congrats
Good
on
morning.
first. Yes, hello. Hello. We're currently in like kind of an emotional tailspin provided by the fact that our children go back to school on August 18th, which is 3 weeks from yesterday. And we've had a kid in summer school, which this is the last week of it. So like we get then 2 weeks in between summer school being done and school starting. But those 2 weeks, the kid is at the other house, so we would get those 2 weeks off anyways. Like we would already get those 2 weeks to be able to sleep in and do those sorts of fun, silly things, right?
Yeah.
We would already get those. And just by the sheer shake of the dice and not much else. It is worked out where we have ended up with the kid in summer school 5 of the 6 weeks. And then we have, the next 2 weeks where we can like sleep in and not have to worry about a 6:30 alarm, and then it's back to school on August 18th, which is so early. It's ridiculous, and one of those things that like I lose my mind about, because they used to have it as a law here in Michigan. Now, I don't think lobbyists themselves are a good thing, right?
What does that mean? Sorry.
Lobbyist?
Yeah, I'm kind of not familiar with that term.
So our government is so broken that the only way to get anything done is by someone who's a professional lobbyist, and they are paid a whole bunch of money to lean on. They're former politicians, and they're paid a bunch of money to be like, hey Greg, I really need you to add this to this bill.
Do they poke his knee and everything?
Yes.
Okay.
They go like, hey Greg, I really need you to add this to this bill. Remember how we paid for your fundraising for you to get elected? And remember how we're going to pay again in another like 6 months, because a lot of those positions you have to run for re-election every 2 years. Hey Greg, you need to put this in the bill. That's lobbyists.
Oh, okay.
So it's gross.
Yeah.
Now, but sometimes there are lobbyists that accomplish good things for bad reasons. Sometimes there's lobbyists that accomplish good things for good reasons, but in a bad way, because lobbying is inherently gross, right? But we have a tourism lobby here in Michigan, and they successfully made it for a number of years where school legally could not start any earlier than the day after Labor Day. Which was, for my brain, the best thing ever, because never did I have to go, when does school start this year? Let me look at a calendar. What was that date? Okay, it's what's up, Big Papa Burgers? Good morning. I was actually just talking about you yesterday because I was playing Bloodstained again. But it was this wonderful world.
Wonderful.
where
World.
everything didn't start till the day after Labor Day, and you never had to think about it, and then you had extra time to fit family vacations in and everything else, and schools hated it because they do. I never understand this thing, but they're always trying to like make it so, because we live in Michigan and there's snow, and they always try to make it so that there's no like makeup days at the end of the year. They stress out about makeup days like crazy. And so at this point, we're going like 2 extra weeks so that there's no makeup days. And the way they got around the law is a law got passed that if enough like parents in a school district like said like, hey, actually, I want this to change, they could like turn the law, or they could change it. Now, what happened was once that was a law, every single year they were like, hey, will you guys sign this thing? Hey, will you guys sign this thing? Hey, will you guys sign this thing? And every time they lost, they would like get together and be like, okay, well, this time we're going to do it at like this thing. And we're going to like make sure we're going to do it at the football games. We're going to do it. And they waited they took like a year off. They got all their ducks in a row. And then they waited to the year where it just was going to fall the latest it would ever possibly fall. And then they were like, hit everyone and was like, you don't want to start that late. We're going to have to go. We might have to go into like July, which was never true. And they got all these parents to sign. And I was the one like insane parent.
The one insane parent.
According to everyone else that was like screaming. I was
no
like,
one asked me.
I was going around going like,
why didn't anyone ask me?
You weren't a parent yet.
Oh.
I was going around going, don't sign that! And everyone was like, what's his deal?
And now our children are going back to school and like, well, I mean, I think most parents probably, well, not most parents, the parents who don't have kids in summer school, no offense to our kid in summer school, but like most parents don't notice it as much as we would.
Right.
It's like glaring because we spent all of summer doing nothing but summer school.
Doing summer school. And it's just been a nonstop thing. And then it's like, there's a 2-week break, but it's like, again, we would get that 2-week break anyways. I also read that as we were fishing. That 100%. I was
can't
like,
read it really.
I was like, Sam was fishing? That's weird. And then I was like, oh, that context doesn't make sense for that. Maybe he was fishing for compliments. He was fishing for Adventure Time, finishing Adventure Time. Okay. That was everything my brain did, and I felt like a crazy person until Burgers said they did the same thing.
Okay. We're all collectively losing our minds.
It's fine. Burgers, yes, I was talking about you yesterday because I started playing Bloodstained again. And
the main character sounds like Mickey Mouse.
She doesn't. Sometimes she sounds like Mickey Mouse.
She sounds like Mickey Mouse every single time she jumps or does anything besides talk. When she talks in the cutscene, she doesn't sound like Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
But she sounds like Mickey Mouse.
Mickey voice. Never finished that game. I tried to beat it 2 times. I'm on time number 2 of probably not beating it. But I just will always remember hanging out with Burger's partner and being like, hey, have you all played Bloodstained? And she was like, no, I haven't, but I can tell you it sounds like this. And she just like made all the noises for about 2 minutes straight because she had been listening to Burgers play that game.
That was my experience with it. Was literally just sitting here looking down at my phone and listening to a character that sounds like Mickey Mouse make those noises.
Yeah. Sam says, I miss you guys. I feel like I never see you guys because of the new schedule. Yeah, same. It's also the added thing of the lack of internet at the shop, and the shop getting busier means I can't like hang out in Twitch streams the way that I used to.
Yeah. I was going to talk to you about tweaking the schedule a little bit. Not going away more, but adding something.
What do you want to add to the schedule?
Well, because I sleep in so much on Mondays that, like, my sleep schedule is, like, really fucked.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, like, we could do something on Monday.
Okay.
But I think the thing that was bothering me was that, like, we would stream on Monday and then you would stream again. And so, like, I would see you for, like, a little bit and then you would go away for hours.
Okay, we could talk about it and
Cool.
try to figure it out.
It doesn't even have to be a morning show. It could be something else. It could be like a game or something.
Yeah.
I guess I don't have a computer, so that kind of takes some of the options out of.
I mean, we're literally like 2 seconds away from fixing that computer. I just want to put more RAM in it first.
I know.
Is like the whole.
But when we do that, you can put it down there, and then we can use it to stream.
Yeah.
From. That's the new deal. Jeff is stealing my computer. I'm just kidding. I let him do it. I gave it to him.
Burger says, fix your Monday schedule. Just don't sleep. Okay.
I get weird when I don't sleep. It's not fun. It's like I used to pull all-nighters as a teenager, and I would be like, you know, like how like goofy you get when you like are sleep deprived as a teenager, like how everything is funny and like just you're very loopy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fun and fine. But like when I don't sleep now, I get like scared of everything and paranoid and like sad, and it's not fun anymore.
It's so fun. So, our teenager who is giving us probably the most issues is maybe the most like me kid ever, which is why they're giving us the most issues. It's very like. It's very much like I'm paying for sins that I'm paying for my 15-year-old sins right now, kind of a thing. We have some weird conversations that are like the other day they're like I just didn't sleep last night because I really got into this thing and then I just didn't want to sleep, and I was like, yeah, that we're just like that, bud. Like I think I'm gonna just stay up till sleep time tonight so I can actually wake up tomorrow. Like, yeah, that's how I would handle it too. Huh, that's probably not really smart. Probably not, but like we seem to be okay when other people aren't. Yeah, okay.
I'm envious of you guys and your ability to not sleep, because again, I turn into like a little ball of sadness and rage. Well, not even rage, just like everything freaks me out when I'm tired. Like everything. I don't know why. I'll just like overthink literally everything.
Yeah.
Like the way you're looking at me right now, I would be like, why is he looking at me like that? Why is his head tilted to one side in such a way?
What's going on with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that the lack of sleep affects me in some ways. It is just ways that are like more difficult to clock than I think the average person. Like I can do basic functioning, and I'm pretty emotionally regulated when I don't sleep.
You're a lot more aloof.
Yes, that is true.
You're a lot more like you won't notice certain things that are happening around you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to put a lot of... I don't think you understand the amount of work I have to put in to notice my surroundings and not just like live up here. But it is like effort that, yeah, that's the thing that goes away when I don't sleep, is like I can't take that effort.
Yeah, that's valid.
Whereas you, the youngest, the oldest, there's many times, what if we go take a nap? What if we that happened. The youngest came back from like it was the day we went to see Superman, and I was like so excited to see Superman with the family that night. My third time seeing it, and we were sitting there, and the youngest came back from like an overnighter at a friend's house and hadn't slept, and about 10-20 minutes in, I was calling you, my oldest, because we brought everyone to work.
Yeah.
And I was calling everyone to be like, she needs to go home and take a nap.
She needs to go. Love her to death. She needs to go take a nap. I remember getting there, and the tension in the room was like so, like you could like poke it with a stick. The tension, like
because a 10-year-old was being so mean to everyone.
I like walked in, and our middle kid is just like, "Hey," and I'm like, "Hey, you okay?" No. Like, okay, sorry, what's going on? And then I turned, and then you instantly were like, hey, so our oldest kid's gonna come get the youngest kid.
so they can
so
sleep.
they could go take a nap. I was like, okay. And then it turned into this, like, it wasn't happening fast enough. And you were like, do you want to just take her? I'm like, I guess. And then the oldest showed up. Like,
The oldest showed up, and then the oldest, like, looked around the room and was like, there's no conversation. It was like, hey, youngest kid, do you want to go wait in my car?
He's like, here, you can turn the car on. And then she left. I love her so much. Her and I are so similar, though. It's scary. Like, that is me when I don't sleep. Is like, are you okay?
Yes, a big sneeze.
Bug just sat there and sneezed into the
out.
door. I think he does, but I think he's playing with whoever's underneath the door, too. There's no one. Never mind. I thought there was another cat. It was just him being like, let me out.
Me out, please. What if I sneeze? If I sneeze, they'll actually notice me.
Well, I felt bad because he sneezed and his head hit the door. Like, he's such a
derpy dude.
Oh my god, you weren't here the other day. You know how? So we have this basket in our living room, and it's underneath a chair.
Mm-hmm.
It's underneath a table, like a little end table, and then I put the basket underneath it to store like blankets and stuff. And right now the only thing in there is my baby blanket. And so whenever Bug is like forlorn or like I won't snuggle with him or he just wants like a second to himself, he like hops into that basket and curls up with my baby blanket, which is like the cutest thing in the world. But the other day I came home and he like excitedly jumped out of the basket, except he like kind of overshot how much jump he needed and smacked right into the glass case that's next to the basket, and I saw his head like smush in a little bit, and then he like looks up and like shakes his whole body and then just trots over to me like, hi mom.
I relate to that cat so hard. The way like when either of us walk across the house, just things randomly fall and neither of us have any idea why anything's happening.
He walks like a bulldog too.
Yep.
One of our friends was like, it was like one of the first times they'd come over to see him after we adopted him, and he was like, there's something up with that cat. Like, he walks like a bulldog. And he do.
I just have an inability to not be a tornado of destruction.
You have there's a word for it that TikTok has coined, and I don't remember what it is right now, but like I have it too, except I'm more aware of like my general surroundings. Like I am careful with the small stuff. It's the big stuff that like I'm like, huh. Like every night I jam my hip into the side of that desk. And every morning, I almost knock over that camera like 7 times at least on my way to and from.
Like, those are two things I would never have a problem with. But it's like
there's a bug.
The amalgamation of our two senses of like cluttering means that like now I am just like knocking the random foot level bins full of tiny trinkets. Like, I'm just gonna knock those over every day for the rest of my life.
I've been doing so good. I've been throwing things away. Just, like, out of sheer rage for myself. I'm just like, why do you still have this? It's
trying to make the kitchen more efficient, and I got called in, and I stopped at the edge of the kitchen and said, you do not want to call me in for this job. Because people...
Oh, my God.
I have learned... are not like honest with themselves and have like approached this conversation emotionally and not rationally, and it's like, you don't want me to call in to make you don't want to call me in to make the kitchen more efficient, because I will make the kitchen more efficient. It'll be far more efficient. It'll eliminate all these problems you're saying.
So efficient.
But I'm telling you right now, you don't want me to do that because it's going to be a whole thing. And then you're like, no, I want you to do that. And then 2 seconds in, we were fighting, and there was a lot of me like being like, why am I here? Just why?
Because I needed you to reach the higher shelves. I was like, that's all I needed you for. I didn't need you to explain how it made no sense that we have 2 sets of Tupperware sets that are like overflowing in a box that nobody uses. I don't need that logic in my life. I just needed you to reach the top shelf. And then finally we got past that point and we started throwing things away. I'm still a little salty because I had to throw away some Tupperware, not all of the Tupperware, but some that my grandma got me for Christmas, but it's because they were missing the lids or some lids were there and some bottoms weren't. It made sense, but I was still like, but this was a Christmas gift. Why are we not?
That is entirely not functional.
Yeah, and so...
But you still have some of the Christmas gift there.
I know, but I don't have all of it.
You didn't have all of it to start with.
I know. Anyway, so we got through that, and then I was throwing away other things and like things that weren't mine, and I had the problem of him, which is like I didn't consider that this would have an emotional connection to somebody. And then we got to like the next, I think it was like 2 days later, we were having like a okay, here's how the kitchen works now, everybody. Like, this is where stuff is. Because, like, we're a very neurodivergent household. Mm-hmm. So, like, we could probably benefit from, like, labels even on shelves. And, like, just to make sure that things are going...
That's part of my plan in the next, like, week or two. I got to get new tape for a label maker. But
just to make sure that, like, things are going where they're supposed to in a way that makes sense. Because, like... It's fine if things aren't, like, stacked neatly or whatever. The problem was that things were, like, getting broken because they were just, like, shoving things in random spots.
It's not... So the problem is it's not fine if things aren't stacked neatly because then it dogpiles. We had too many things, and then when they're not stacked neatly...
You can't...
It just all starts piling, and then you can't see what you're actually going to get, and then it's, like... And there was no amount of, like, here's the stuff we use all the time. Here's the stuff we use sometimes.
So that happened. And then, come to find out, we apparently threw away ramen bowls that nobody ever used. But apparently everyone had a deep emotional connection to.
They were never used because they're like cutesy, artsy, silly box lunch style ramen bowls that were probably way too expensive that have giant holes in the side for chopsticks that match the ramen bowls that are long gone. And the idea was like, here's a SpongeBob ramen bowl with like SpongeBob ramen bowl, SpongeBob chopsticks that match. Again, the chopsticks are long gone, but then what you're left with is a bowl with holes, which means that like I don't know the last time you've used a bowl, chat, but like holes and bowls don't really mix.
I mean, they did. To be fair, it's not like the holes were like in the middle of the bowl. They were in like the top part for the chopsticks. Like, but if you like tilt the bowl even a little bit, there's going to be ramen coming out of it.
Which makes it fine for ramen, but not fine for things like cereal.
Sam said you just don't overfill the bowl, Jeff. Exactly.
Right.
But I think the problem is that then it was only used for ramen. And
then you couldn't find them half the time because they were buried in the back, or they're like... So, I'll just say, Selena threw out the ones that were never used. One of them apparently was in frequent use, and a kid had a very emotional crash out that we threw away their ramen bowl. Now, the entire time they were having an emotional crash out, that ramen bowl was actually dirty in their room.
Yeah.
But...
Yep.
They thought we threw it away.
Which I thought was so funny. And the whole time I was just like, I can't really like say anything because I crashed out about my Christmas Tupperware. And they were like, you were like looking to me for help. You're like, help me out here. And I'm like, I can't. Because
whenever there's something breaks down and there's like emotions being thrown, I'm just like, I can help. I can't.
I'm like, nope, I'm on the kid's side here. How dare we throw away those ramen bowls
that you threw away? I know. And it turned out it was in their room, which is fine. Yeah. And it was like
so they got to keep it.
Well, the worst part is I was like about to explain. Like, here is where all the stuff we use infrequently that is, like, more special stuff that is particular to each person goes. Like, because I had taken one of like the just completely disaster zones and turned it into like the super functional dishes we use over and over and over again, and everything had a specific place.
Yeah.
And that's disrupted by like a weird ramen bowl or a shark plate or what have you. And so I had a whole section for that, and I was like getting ready to try to explain that to them. And then we had this whole crash out over throwing out the ramen bowl that we didn't actually throw out. Which was fun and amazing. Which I couldn't even tell you which ramen bowl was theirs. Was it like
It's like a little ramen bowl with like a dog on it or something.
Is it from something?
No, it's just
Okay.
like, it was a Christmas gift from me, which I think is why they were like, what the heck? But I also threw away the other bowl that I got for the other kid for Christmas, and they didn't really care up until the point that like
Someone else cared.
the other kid cared, and
yeah.
then they were like, "Hey, wait a minute, I want my ramen bowl back." They were
that I
like,
never used.
God, I'm sorry.
Well, then I tried to like be like, okay, so like part of why we're doing this is, we found out this kid has a special ramen bowl, that their special ramen bowl, but it's down here, which means that like if you go to use a bowl, and that's like the one bowl available, and you have to go to a whole different like cupboard for it, you don't use that bowl. You leave that bowl for that person because that's their special dish, which like plays into the way we're all neurodivergent and everything else. But then that kid had a crash out of just like, well, I would never do that. I just like the way that like it felt like it was like
so confidently like, yes, I am this way, and I do not do those things. When like we literally have watched with our eyeballs that they have done those.
The amount of my like quote unquote special bowls that I've like had, I've like been like,
my God,
kid, don't use this.
There was this age and time, whatever. I don't know how to say that phrase, but there was this time where Jeff got these like really, like, I think they were the bowl plate things, like
the rimmed plates.
Yeah, the rimmed plates.
Which is the greatest invention since the boxer brief. Like, one of those, like, things where it's like, why are we living in these two disparate worlds when we could combine the best qualities of both, right? The rimmed plate is such an advance in science, and I don't know why we didn't have it 30 years ago. It's amazing. And now, I'm in this constant state of just being like, I'm not allowed to have nice things. And I have this
had to like drag you out of.
Yes, and like a coach before a little league game, Sleeto will be like, "No, you can buy this.
Yeah.
This thing that is special to you. It'll be fine. You're allowed to have nice things." And then I bring the nice thing home, and it gets ruined. And then I go, "This is why I'm not allowed to have nice things." And then Sleeto will be like, "Nope, that's not how it should be. You should be able to have nice things." And it was just like, I would keep getting these it was at a time where we had like no money too, and it was like they were like not a lot of money, but it was like two or three.
You didn't want to keep replacing them like over and over and over.
And they would all just turn orange from ravioli over and over and like, over again.
The ravioli plate, which is interesting to me. I'm not hating on anybody and how they eat ravioli. I just wouldn't personally put ravioli in a rimmed plate. That just, you have to then push the ravioli everywhere. Like, put it in a bowl, right? Like,
I'm pretty big on bowled ravioli, but like,
yeah,
I could see rimmed plate over not rimmed plate.
But like, if you're gonna do it, maybe a bowl would be my first choice, which we had several. At the time, we had all those ramen bowls they could have put ravioli in.
Sam says ravioli slaps, though. It does.
It's so good.
It's very good.
I love ravioli. We just learned very quickly that, like, because there's probably a flaw. I get real squicky if, like one of my special dishes that I use for things gets ruined in a way that, like, I can't fix it. And so, like, I was used to having that reaction, and then like having you have that reaction with the like rimmed, because it's like they were like made out of plastic, I think, or something. They're not made out of ceramic.
It's one of those things. It was probably fine, but like to sit down for your nightly dinner and just have like this orange rim around everything. Like, it was just like, I can't. And it was just like we kept buying them and it kept happening to it over and over and over again.
And it's just funny to me because it's like we have other. I don't think at the time we did, but there was so many other choices. Most of them being ceramic, so like they wouldn't stain the like plastic of the bowl. Because we have ceramic bowls, we had ceramic plates, like, but for some reason, oh man, Dad's rimmed like plate bowl thingy.
The reason why is because they would dirty all the bowls, and then they wouldn't want to wash dishes, and then they would want ravioli, and then they would look at a sink full of dirty dishes, and they'd look at my rimmed plate, and they'd look at the sink full of dishes, they'd look at their ravioli, and they'd be like, I'm just going to use that. And they would use it, and then it would be orange. Because it's not like they would like immediately wash it afterwards, but that's probably the lie they told themselves. They're probably like, I'm just gonna use it, and then I'm gonna wash all these dishes. That's what I'm gonna do. Like, and I'm not gonna wash these dishes then eat. I'm gonna use it. And they would like, you think they'd be watching their silly YouTube haha, and they would be sitting there and be like, oh, Markiplier's doing what now? Ha 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 ha. And then the thing of ravioli would just sit on probably the table, and they would be like getting around to washing it the whole time. And then they'd be like, oh, crap, Dad and Sleet are almost home. And then they would like go throw it out and then like stick it at the bottom of the dishes or something, I'm sure.
Yeah. Also, I think the problem was they were microwaving the plate with the ravioli in it because they didn't want to put the ravioli in a stovetop thing. It's kids are an experience, man. Like being a parent is just like this like never ending. I am just experiencing these things that I didn't even know could be things that like are even like not a problem. I never want to say anything is a problem, but just kind of like an obstacle. And it's just like, I guess, you know, and I was a kid once. We were all kid once, I think.
We were all kid once.
We were all kid once.
Sam says people's aversion to dishes is weird. I've known people who buy more dishes instead of washing them. That's always because the more dishes you own, the worse of a chore washing dishes is.
Yeah, but can't you just like throw away the dishes that are dirty? I'm not saying I do that. I'm just saying like I could see the logic. I don't agree with it, and I don't like. I don't adhere to that policy.
I come from a line of human beings that like my mother did this, and then I used to do it, and it is not a good trait.
I found a dish downstairs once and it scared me.
Of what you do is, oh shit, company's coming over. These dishes are not done. So you throw all the dishes in a box, put them somewhere else to be like, these dishes will be done later.
Why don't you just soak them in the sink while you prepare for company coming over?
Because it's just like you're correct.
No, it's fine. I thought maybe there was the company was coming like then.
It's like the company's like coming then. Oh. Like, oh fuck, what are we gonna do? And you know, you have to be the perfect pastor's wife, right? That has a home ready to receive people at all times, right?
Yeah.
And so box dishes up, dishes go downstairs.
Where are you getting the boxes?
Don't understand you're neurodivergent, right?
Yeah. And sorry, I'm asking too many questions.
And though that box full of dishes now does not exist in your brain. Like you've done it with the thought of like, later I will grab that box
and do those dishes.
But now you put that in the zone of like things where you put things of just like, we'll deal with that later. We'll deal with that later. And so then that box of dishes is just there. And then your kids come over and are trying to help you clean out a space. And they go, Mom, why is there a box of moldy dishes? This is so gross. But like that, after watching that my whole life, I used to do that a lot too.
Yeah.
And I've had to train myself out of it.
Kid, like you think, oh, that's like fine. And not saying it's not fine. I mean, it's probably not fine. Like, you don't want moldy dishes in your house for, like, health reasons.
What?
But, like, I'm not saying, like, I'm, like, judging. I'm just saying, like, if you grew up seeing that, you would think that that is how you handle that. I grew up the opposite, and I'm just, like, high strung, and, like, I literally, like, when everybody is done eating, I'm like, all the dishes go in the sink and, like, they soak or something, or somebody tackles them, like, because that's how I grew up, with my grandma just being like, bah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
not saying either one is right or wrong, just they're completely opposite.
The one I'm describing is wrong. Like, it is flat out wrong.
Objectively wrong, yes, but, like, I'm not trying to say, like, I'm judging. I'm just saying, like,
you should judge. We're bringing back judgment in the society.
Okay.
Like, we need it some places.
Okay.
It's a thing that is so insane because, like, and I can't explain it. Our middle kid would get it, and I get it, and my mom gets it, but the way that
Sorry, there's, like, a moth or something in here, and
the way that I have to tell you that, like, and this is real, you box up all the dishes, and one of them will be like your regular egg pan or something.
Egg pan, like egg frying pan.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Like your regular egg Teflon pan. You box them all up. You bring them downstairs, and then 4 days later, someone will be like, "Where's the egg pan?" And you'll be like, "Where is the egg pan?" It is like, it does not occur to you in the
that
slightest
you did this.
that you boxed up all the dishes and put them somewhere. It is just like, you're like, "Where is that pan? That is so weird. Where is it?" And it, like, doesn't occur to you. And then it's like 5 months, 6 months later, you'll be laying in bed.
And you'll be like, "Oh my fucking God."
And you'll be like, "Oh, I brought those dishes downstairs. They have to be..." And now it's a box of shame. And
a shame and a health hazard.
Right, because,
you
like,
don't want to touch it.
You don't want to touch it. Like, you're like, now it's a problem the way, like, when you spend too much money and you're like, "I don't want to look at that bank account. If I don't look at it, it's fine." Like, you're just like, well, that box is down there, and at some point I can't open that box and not deal with that problem.
Yeah.
But it's like, only in my head, it's the problem that I left it as if I don't open that box. So, like, that box is down there, and that's...
I understand the...
Shiki says regular. That's fair.
Sometimes I feel like this might come across as me being judgy or whatever, and I'm not trying to be, so I'm gonna...
I told you we're bringing judgment back.
Well, yeah, but, like, our, like, sliding scale for, like, what each of us finds acceptable is so different because of how we were... And I'm not saying, like, you were raised, like, badly or I was raised badly. I'm just saying, like, we were raised differently.
I will say badly.
But
I'm comfortable placing the token there.
I also don't want to be the person and in a household unit where, like, there is a person, like, snapping at people. Not snapping. My grandma never snapped at people, but she was very, like she was, like, I don't want to say controlling. That sounds mean, but she was very controlling. I think to avoid the problems that you were saying, because, like, I had that problem with, like, hiding dishes or hiding, like, like, food or whatever. Like, not in, like, I was going to eat it later, but, like, food that I was basically done with, and it would just sit in my room and get awful and disgusting. And I was a teenager, and so there's some level of that's, like, normalized because teenagers are figuring out how to be people. But, like, it was bad for me because I was just, like, I did not care. And, like, there was something in my brain that over time I started caring about that. And, like, I couldn't tell you if it was my grandma being like, or if it was, like, just, like, life or people. Like, maybe when I had my apartment, like, people would come over and be like, "Why do you live like this?" I don't know, but, like...
Where I had to... my mom just literally when I mean, she was probably trained to do it, right? And she would just go behind. There was never that thing of like, hey, Jeff, can you come back and pick up this dish?
Oh, I do that. So, but I feel like mean. Like I'm not even like yelling at anybody. I'll just be like, "Hey guys, can you pick this up?" And then I'm like, "God, I'm so terrible.
And
I should have just picked it up myself."
But there was none of that. It was like I would set and leave dishes places in the living room, in my room, at the table, and the only time it was just like when we had like quote unquote like Sunday family dinner or something. It was like very like, okay, it's someone's job to clear the table and it's someone's job to like do the dishes.
Yeah.
But like every other instance of just like that wasn't like a sit down family mealtime. It was just like this constant barrage of me like leaving things everywhere, clothes, dishes, wrappers, and there was never it was never a like, hey, can you stop doing that? Hey, can you? It just was. And then my sisters came home. There's this thing that happens with like multiple kids, and it'll happen with our kids too when we're down to like just the one. And like the spread was like huge. With like my oldest sibling is like 10 years older than me, and so it was just a very different house by the time that like it was just me there, right?
Yeah.
And I was just treated differently because I was a boy, whereas they were told to like pick the stuff up and do the thing, right? And my sisters like lost it, and they were like, "Oh my god, like he doesn't even know how to turn a washer on," and they just lost it, and they were like, you need to, and laid into me. And so like I got all my laundry together, and I started doing
your own laundry.
I started doing my own laundry like once, and I got all my laundry done. I got it like all with my sisters yelling at me like, now do this, now do this, everything. And like my mom came home from work, which she didn't work when they were kids. And did when I was a kid, and then did all this. I still don't know how she did it. But like she saw the laundry that I did, and I expected it to be like, look, Mom, I did all my like you don't have to do it now. I expected it to be the. Yeah. She started just bawling. Like, you're not gonna need me anymore. Aww. And then so I stopped, and I was like, okay. Which like you say, terrible.
No, I know, but like
because then I never learned how to take care of myself. The one time I like started moving in that direction, I got pushed back.
I know. That is sad though. Aw.
And
I'm not saying it was the right reaction or helpful, but it is kind of like, I'm gonna give your mom a hug next time I see her.
She's very sweet.
She's a very sweet lady.
But that was not a great plan. But like the first
makes me feel a little bit better about being slightly pushy about making sure our kids have the skill set.
You have to.
I didn't have like my grandma never like freaked out and like was like, oh my gosh, you're not gonna need me. She just did everything for me, and then like by the time I was like old enough to kind of realize that I didn't have these skill sets, I was like out, so it didn't really matter at that point.
It's so funny because like the things that I pushed back on and fought for were like the silliest things that like I remember like being like, you need to stop laying clothes out for me. And then like, like there's a real like middle part of my hair, and I was like, no, I'm going to part it from the side. And then I started completely like shaving the sides and doing like the spiky thing through, because that was how everyone's hair is. Mm-hmm. Despite the fact that like everyone's fucking in love with David Cornsweat now, and that's the hair that I had. Aww. Which is like the way his hair sits and looks.
It's like puffy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like when he's Superman, that's the little curl thing. Like that's his
Yeah.
actual hair. That's just what happens when you try to slick it back. Is like part of it
It
just is
just
like
doesn't stay.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
my hair, like 100%
Aw.
that I had, and that I was just like, I don't want it. I want these spiky things. Like, I need to look like
Your mom was probably like, "No, keep your part in the middle." Like,
yeah. Just like no, I need to look like a Blink 182, even though I'm like 12.
I think that's pretty normal.
Yeah,
for a kid.
It was that was the worst hairstyle for men. Can we like acknowledge that now?
Shaving the sides of your head and then spiking.
The gelled spiking everything, keeping it so short, and then it was like every dude was just keeping it so short. There was like no length of hair.
There's a version of that that's good. Do you remember how David Tennant's hair was in Doctor Who?
Yeah.
He had like short sides and then the top was sort of like
But it had some volume and like hair to it. It wasn't like it didn't look like someone had taken like a pound of gel and just like
yeah.
Shiki says, "Nah, sorry, the bowl cut was the worst cut." The bowl cut though, you look at it and you go like, "That's a bowl cut." I don't know what did the weird spiky hair thing have a name?
No,
the bowl cut's probably objectively worse.
There was, I think, Liberty spikes, but those were like the cool.
Those are like the full, yeah.
Yeah.
But this was just like every dude in 2003 had like the shaved hair on the sides with like the kind of the same. If you go back 10 years, every dude had the bowl cut, but with the shaved sides underneath. That one's probably worse.
10 years ago?
10 years before. So like,
oh, okay. I was like, what?
It's like the Eric Matthews has it in Boy Meets World, and like the
I know
dude has it in Scream.
Yeah.
Like as soon as the shitty boyfriend walks on the screen in Scream, it's just like it looks like every dude that because again 10 years older, every single guy my sister dated had that haircut. So like whenever I watch Scream, I'm like, ha.
Wait,
including the guy she married.
The one dude, God, what is his name? But he's like the one with the white t-shirt, and he's a bad guy.
Spoilers.
Oh my God, bro, stop.
Spoilers. Billy, yes, Billy in Scream.
Yes.
He's got that.
Are you saying he's unattractive? Because I'm really thrown by that statement.
I'm saying that haircut is the haircut. Like he looks like every single dude that my sister dated, because they all had that haircut, including the one she ended up marrying, which is really funny to think about. Like I remember him having hair like that because every dude did in that era.
Interesting to think about, huh?
He
does not have that hair no more.
He does not. But yeah, it's every single guy had that. And then
okay.
Eric Matthews did in Boy Meets World too.
What about Leonardo DiCaprio
he also
in Titanic?
had it. Yep.
Okay, that makes sense.
And I had, and that was considered really nice hair for guys at the time. And like I instead looked like Corey Matthews.
But I was gonna say, like, you can't have that hairstyle if you have, like, I guess you can, but like it would look different if you tried to do that hairstyle if you had curly hair.
Right.
I had this problem as a kid too, where I really wanted like the scene, like side.
Thank you, Shiki.
Side like swoop, like hair, but I have naturally curly hair.
Yeah. And
so what I had to do is straighten the fuck out of my hair and then hairspray it down like every single day. The way I went into gym class and like would hairspray my hair, like before gym class, I had to bring a bottle of hairspray to school to hairspray my hair for gym class. And then after gym class, I'd have to do the same thing because the hairspray would either like sweat out of my hair, or like it would just whatever would get like tousled. I
Yeah.
have to respray my hair. I
Sounds
don't
like a
have
nightmare.
a lot of pictures. Well, I mean, I probably have some pictures of me in that era. I'll have to dig and find them. But like, it was also just so bad because like I didn't know how to layer hair, so I literally like how I have straight bangs now, like the just across.
Yeah.
I had that, but like sides of my hair were like different lengths so that you could like swoop it to the side.
Yeah.
And when it laid down, it was like like this part of my hair was like short, and then this part was like long. It was really weird.
Sounds like so much work.
It was a lot of work.
It's
It's
like,
crazy too, because like you know how long it takes me to get ready, and you know how like adverse I am to getting up in the morning.
mhm.
Like my grandma would get me up like at 6 o'clock, not because she wanted me to get ready in that time, but because I needed 30 minutes to straighten my hair and hairspray it, or I would come unglued as a person.
Shiki says I'm annoyed because I want to watch Scream 7 because he's in it and so is Stu, and I want to know why.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm guessing that the solution will not. There's no way that the reason why will be narratively satisfying for you.
Is that the newest one?
The new one coming out, yeah.
Oh, okay. I've lost track of the ones.
You've watched them all, but like the last handful have all been like well received, but they're very forgettable.
I ordered that book, by the way.
Oh, okay.
I ordered The Bell Jar.
Yeah.
By Sylvia
Plath.
Plath.
It's a good book.
I'm excited to read it.
Shiki says I have a headcanon that it's going to be a multiverse thing, and it makes me angry. Yeah, like I said, any solution to that. If it's just a dream, it's going to make you angry. If they're like magically somehow alive, it's going to make you angry. There's no way that Sam says I'm also well received and very forgettable. I hard disagree. On the second part, I think you're well received.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I would say that whenever that movie does come out, I can't remember when that movie's coming out. Take whatever energy and curiosity you have, and if it's the first time, just watch Superman. If you've seen Superman 3 or 4 times already, just watch Superman. It'll make you Shiki. My pitch for you on watching the new Superman film is that it'll just make you so happy as a writer. Like watching like basic ass writing things like setup and payoff and a plot that makes sense and character arcs and like everything. Like it's just you leave that movie and you're like, oh, we're gonna be okay. We're gonna be all right, guys. It's gonna be fine. And it's a movie that is just like the main tenet of it is like, hey, what if being kind is being cool?
Mm-hmm.
And it that fucking rules. As a theme. She says, but I love Skeet and Matt as actors. They're just awesome, and all that I've seen of them as humans also makes me happy, so I want to see it. Yeah. Yeah, we love thanks for the subs.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, I was yawning while Jeff was saying thank you. So
yeah. We fucking love especially Matt and all the things he does. I think I'm gonna fall down a rabbit hole of trying to collect every single Scooby DVD. I think that's in my future.
yeah, it's been a while since I watched any of those movies, and I would like to revisit them. I was
The live action
obsessed.
ones or the cartoon ones.
I was obsessed with the cartoon ones.
Yeah.
The Zombie Island, I think, one was the one I was obsessed with.
Shiki says, have you ever watched The Curve?
Mm-mm.
I did wear Curve cologne for the majority of my life. I don't anymore because I'm lazy and I've already wooed my woman. What is The Curve?
Already wooed my woman. I don't need to smell good.
I don't need to smell good.
I think you smell fine with or without cologne, but it does make me a little sad that you don't wear it just because it reminds me of like stealing your cologne when we first started dating and like spraying my clothes with it that I brought over here.
I will start wearing it again. It just has to like sit out so I see it, and then I will wear
It
it.
lives in the bathroom with my sprays.
And that's why I don't.
I've told you this. I've said, Jeffrey, look at all the little
If I
sprays.
if I have to look for it, it's not going to happen.
But it's right there. If you're standing like
It says Carrie Russell.
if you're standing in the bathroom facing the shelf, you can literally look directly at it.
This has a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. I want to watch it so bad.
How does it have a 0?
I don't know.
I've never
Aren't you
known
intrigued,
anything
though?
with a 0.
The Curve is a 1998 American thriller film starring Matthew Lillard, Kerry Russell, and Michael Vartan, which premiered at the 98 Sundance Film Festival under its original title, Dead Man's Curve. It draws on the urban legend that a student will receive an A-letter grade should their roommate commit suicide. Isn't there a movie like that that stars the dude from Saved by the Bell? I swear there's a movie with the same subject matter. Now I have to remember who the actor who played Zach Morris is. Mark Paul Gossier. Is it Freshman Fall? No. I swear one of these starring him is like the same thing. Shiki said about The Curve, it's a thriller with Matt Lillard in it. It's absolutely fucking insane. Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching it. She said I bought a 2-pack of Zombie Island and returned to Zombie Island because I'm obsessed with Zombie Island. Was Zombie Island the one
I think it was. Okay. Let me Google it real quick.
We'll keep an eye out for it. Serial Mom is another one I love with him in it. Yeah, maybe we'll just go down a Matthew Lillard train, and cause I've not watched SLT Punk in way too long. And it would be fun just to like go crazy. Hey, every Tuesday on this show, we ask a very important question.
Am I an asshole? Cannot be an asshole cause Reddit is telling me it's not so. And if it's one thing that we know, it's that Reddit's never wrong.
Instead of watching Lita slowly lower her headphones. Some of my finest work, and yes. It does not get appreciated.
I think it is Zombie Island that I was.
Yeah.
And then
I'll keep an eye out for it. My thing is like we're like slowly kind of doing some DVD collecting. Just because I started ending up with DVDs, and then it's like there is a lot of things that like aren't in print and anything else. So it's like it is kind of fun to get like weird kids TV shows and stuff. But my rule for DVD hunting is that we have to find it in the wild. Like we can't sit and like just eBay stuff. And so we're going to like Goodwills and other such garage sales and other such shenanigans. And so that'll be on the list to look out for, because it'll mean more if we find it in the wild for $1 than if we just go like, oh, let's just buy this. Also, if you just buy stuff, half the time you get like the newer made DVDs and Blu-rays, and those are so shitty. You can tell they're very like print on demand, and they don't have any of the like menus or special features or anything, and it's annoying, and it makes me sad.
Oh, I was also obsessed with Scooby-Doo and the Alien Invaders.
Yeah?
Like, we watched that at least once a day as a child. Wanted the Scooby-Doo. There's like a little like Scooby that has like let me look it up. Let me see.
Am I the asshole for telling my husband not to hire a video editor even though it's affecting our relationship?
What?
Am I the asshole for telling my husband not to hire a video editor even though it's affecting our relationship? Sam also said what? And then laughed because you guys said what simultaneously. My husband recently landed a well-paying job as a welder, working 12-hour shifts most days. Before this job, his main hobby was content creation. He loved filming, editing, and uploading videos online. It was never a source of income, just something he enjoyed doing. Now that he's working full-time, he barely has the time or energy to edit his videos.
Oh my god, sorry. I found the flashlight or the Scooby-Doo plush with the flashlight that I was like obsessed with.
What?
So he's a talking stuffed animal that looks like Scooby-Doo.
Did you say that's what you were looking for? Last time
Yeah,
you were
I
looking
did.
up Zombie Island.
No, I said that I was obsessed with Alien Invaders, and I said I think that there's a plush that goes with it.
Okay.
And I couldn't remember. And then I was getting mixed up with moon boots. You remember, or moon shoes?
No, I don't remember.
Do you remember moon shoes?
What are moon shoes?
I'll look that up at a different time. We're doing a lot of running away from the plot here. But no, I had this plush as a kid, and it's Scooby-Doo, and he's got this little flashlight, and like you turn the flashlight on, and like he like there's like different shapes and like things you can screw onto the flashlight to make it like look like a different thing. Like there's like a ghost shape and like a
That's cool.
yeah, and he just gets like freaked out and says like he's scared and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, and then he like I think he like shakes too, like violently.
Oh, because it's off of the Tickling Elmo.
Yes.
Craze. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's like one of the riffs on that. Okay.
So anyway, that existed. I just couldn't remember if I made that up in my head or like if that was a thing that actually happened.
Sam said, as a video editor, yes, let him hire me. My husband recently landed a well-paying job as a welder, working 12-hour shifts most days. Before this job, his main hobby was content creation. He loved filming, editing, and uploading videos online. It was never a source of income, just something he enjoyed doing. Now that he's working full-time, he barely has the time or energy to edit his videos. He came to me asking if he could hire a video editor so he could still enjoy his hobby without spending hours editing. I told him I didn't think that was a good idea because we have other important expenses to prioritize. Health insurance, car insurance, bills, groceries, etc. He already knows how to edit, and I felt that hiring someone else would be unnecessary when we're trying to save. He reluctantly agreed and dropped the idea, but ever since, he's been distant. If he's not at work, he's either recording and editing his videos or sleeping. We barely spend time together anymore. I brought it up, and he said that editing takes up the only free time he has, but it's the only way he could still feel like himself and enjoy life outside of work. I can't help but feel like he's being petty by choosing editing over spending time with me, especially since I compromised by not stopping him from doing content creation entirely, just asked him not to spend on an editor. Am I the asshole for telling him not to hire one, or is he being immature about this?
I don't know if you can have it both ways, dear. Like, you can't be like, hey, I want you to not edit, but also you can't hire a video editor. Also, stop editing your own videos, etc.
Yeah, she just wants him to give up the hobby.
Probably.
But she wants the points for not saying give up the hobby. Like, Sam said, bro, you told him he had to, so he's doing it. Of course he's going to be busy. I'm clearly biased, but yes, this person is the asshole for the partner is working full-time and following his passion. I spent so many hours editing. Shiki says they both kind of suck in this situation, though. She's more of an asshole, of course.
They don't have kids, do they? Because if they have kids, then this definitely makes him kind of not an asshole, but like, where are your priorities?
Right.
And like, how can you block it to where like everybody wins? If that makes any sense. There's gonna be like stages in life though where like you can't have it that way. Like, wasn't there a time where you were going to college and your ex-wife was a stay-at-home mom and then it flip-flopped? Like,
yeah,
she went to college and you stayed at home?
I mean, kind of, sort of, but yeah.
Yeah, so like it's never going to be like 50-50, but you can't.
But also, yeah, it feels like it feels like that thing where like if you put a gun to this lady's head, she would be like, what I want is for him to like set this quote unquote childish hobby down. I get that energy from this. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but like that's what I get. And instead of being like, I want you to be a partner that doesn't have a hobby like this.
She's like, oh, these are the like realistic reasons why you shouldn't be doing this and why you should be doing other things instead.
Right. She can't like be like, hey, she doesn't want to be the wife that's like, hey, stop doing this.
Yeah, but
which that's what she wants.
Yeah.
Which is like, you have to either just like own being the person that's like, look, like
oh, the camera went over.
Yeah, sorry, I moved the chat over here so we could see it. And
I just couldn't see myself. I thought I was like in the.
No, I was covering you.
The chat box was covering me. It's okay.
Yeah, it's like you can, like, people can argue to the sun comes home about whether or not that makes you.
It's the cows come home, Jeff, not the sun comes home. What? It's the sun comes up.
Both.
Where does the sun come home to?
People can argue till the cows come up.
They just like burst in the ground.
Yeah. About whether or not that makes her a bad person to not want him to do this hobby. And that's debatable, but like life is so much easier if you just like recognize the thing that you want, regardless, and state it regardless of if it's a thing that you should want. Like trying to pretend it's not, but then trying to like Machiavellian your way to getting that is Sunday school kicked in there with prodigal son. Shiki says, but unless you're in a relationship where both of you are okay without spending time together, both people need to make compromises. I think that he should be able to hire an editor, but if it's something they can't afford and he spends all of his free time editing and not with her, then he's also in the wrong. I want my partner to pursue their dreams, but if hiring an editor to expedite the process isn't something you can afford, maybe think about cutting back a small amount to spend time with your partner. Yeah,
I agree with that because, like, the way that the girl is framing it is, like, that he's literally spending all of his time, like, not even blocking out any time. And, like, as somebody who's very clingy and, like, very, like, I like to spend time with you, when you're editing, it's difficult to, like, even be in the same room as you because you're just so easily distracted. And, like, I feel like and this isn't me, like, being like, how dare you? I'm just, like, stating a fact. You've told me, like, even that, like, it's hard for you to edit and work on projects when I'm in the room because I'm just distracting. And, like, it just, even if I'm just moving in and out, like, it just pulls you away from what you're doing. So, like, I get where she's coming from, but, like, there's a more honest way, if that is how she feels like going about it. It could be that she's genuinely worried about, like, their finances, though, too, but, like, she's not going about it in a way that, like, it feels like no matter what he does, if he's not giving up that hobby, like, he's not gonna win. Or wait. Did I say that right? She's not gonna win, or he's not gonna... I don't know.
Shiki said the issue here is it something they can't afford, or is she being controlling? It's framed that it's not something they can afford, which is where my opinion that they both suck comes from. But if they can and she's being controlling and mean about it, then she's 100% the asshole here. Tim said, I will say as a workaholic, I do have a cutoff time to stop working so I can spend the nights with Shiki. Yeah, and I think you need that, but also, like, he's going and working as a welder for however many hours. And
I bet that's a lot.
And then coming home and then doing this stuff. And
time management is hard.
Yeah, and you still need some time that's like downtime and stuff too. But
yeah, not to say that spending time with your partner isn't downtime. It's just like, for accounting, like, I don't even know these people, so I don't know what kind of people they are. They might need, like, alone time too, that he might not even consider, like, editing as part of alone time. He might need, like, different time. I don't know.
I will say, so like I have sat through premarital counseling. That was not beneficial. I think it was a lot of like, all right, because of Jesus, you need to make sure you sleep with Jeff, otherwise he might cheat. That was the premarital counseling I sat through, right?
Eh.
That's sadly not uncommon. But like, we need to, I think, normalize some amount of premarital counseling for people. That is like, just like, hey, what is the perfect version of your relationship look like to each person? Because like, I don't think like people state things to each other very outwardly. And so like,
sometimes people don't even know what they want, though.
That too. But often it seems like what people want is like, I want this thing where I go to work, he goes to work, we come home, and then it's like, okay, our lives are now like around each other.
Is she working?
She says in an edit, we both contribute financially to the household, our financial. That's
what does that
weirdly
mean?
phrased.
Like, do you work or like? Because and it's fine. Like whatever your job is. Like as somebody who has like a secondary, as somebody who has a secondary income and spends most of my time at home while Jeff goes and brings home the bacon, as they would so call it in the. I almost said in the olden times. Not really olden times. It's just the times where the man would go out and work and the woman would stay home. But I have a secondary income, but I don't know that I like can say I guess I do, but like this is where like when you put finances together, I don't know their relationship, so like I can't say for sure what their specific dynamic is, but if she is doing something that's contributing financially, she must be working in some way, right?
I would think, but that's a very
Do they have
weirdly
kids?
phrased. I don't think so.
Okay. That also is part of the Sam said Jeff freaks over the bacon when the cows go up or something.
She said this for sure, but if you're in a relationship, you need to figure out time to spend with your partner, so that needs to be figured out. Agreed. I think that's kind of where he was like, my assumption is that's where he was like, hey, can I hire someone to do this?
Also, sometimes Reddit just hates women.
That is also true.
Because there's an option here, and it's called "You're both the asshole," and that is like a thing that Redditors can choose to.
I think they're zeroing in on her statement. I compromise by not stopping him from doing content creation entirely. They're zeroing in on her saying that, which is like, it's kind of a shitty way
but
of
like,
phrasing
okay, we just watched Juno.
Yes.
And like, spoilers for Juno. Can I talk about Juno?
Yeah. It's
briefly.
One of my
yes,
top
but
10
like, I don't want to
movies.
accidentally spoil the movie.
Okay, so you can talk about Juno.
Okay,
It's
I will talk around it somewhat.
like almost 20 years old at this point. So.
Oh my fucking god! What?
Sorry.
Huh? Come again? How old is that movie? It's not 20.
I think
it came out in 2009.
I think it came out in 2006 or 7. One of those.
No, it didn't. No, it didn't.
I'm gonna look it up.
No,
Are you ready?
let it be. just
2007. Yeah, it is an 18-year-old film.
Okay.
What's up, Snoopy?
Okay.
If after 5 years there are no spoilers, yeah, I'm okay with that rule.
Okay.
Are you gonna be all right?
It's an adult. Anyway, we watched Juno.
Yes.
Bits in Juno. A couple in that movie. I will dance around saying character names just to be spoiler conscious. One of them is like, hey, I want like a baby, and I want to be like a parent, and I want to be like this is my dream, like this is my life, this is what I've always wanted. Mm-hmm. And then the other partner is like, yeah, but also I have all of my like my stuff that I was dreaming about. I want to be like a rock star, and I want to like be this cool.
It is part of what makes that movie fucking brilliant. Because when you watch that movie when you're young, you see the
I hated the character that
you see the cool dude that's into the cool stuff that has to keep all of his stuff in a box in the basement and has to keep all of his stuff in one room, and you're just like,
oh my god, like I felt so bad for that character when I was a teenager.
And then when you watch that movie as you get older, you're like, this dude is such a piece of shit. And it's not even
it's
the
very
things
nuanced too.
Yes,
it's not that it's not like for
it's how he's doing it.
Yes.
It is not the things he's into. It is that he is saying, yes, sweetheart, we can put all my stuff in a box downstairs. And
but
then he's like
resentful.
feel sorry for me because all my stuff's in a box downstairs.
He's very resentful about it, but he won't actually admit that. And so I think that's a very common thing, and not just with men, but with women too. I'm not like...
Shiki said, sidebar, fuck them for making me hate his character. Yeah, he's so hateable in that movie. But it's so brilliant because, like we watched it with our kids because they're old enough to watch that movie now. And, like, my kids were kind of like, he seems really cool. And it's so
as a teenager, I
done.
100%. And this is like, I do not hold these views anymore, but I had such a warped view of like what was okay and what wasn't. And I was just like, well, why doesn't she just like go and hang out with him and he could get an apartment in the city and like they could be friends and maybe when she's older they could date. And now I'm like, what the actual fuck
and
was he trying to do?
Shiki says, as a teenager, I was very torn between them. Yeah, it's so brilliantly done. And as I get older, like, it's a movie full of like funny, memorable lines, like Thundercats ago, like that's a diddle that can't be or a scribble that can't be whatever the Etch Sketch joke is that Rainn Wilson says at the start. There's like all these like
I don't remember.
But there's all these just like really funny lines in that movie, and just like, I gotta pee like Seabiscuit. Some of them that I say to this day.
I don't even remember when I'm saying them that they're from that movie, but then I'll be like, oh yeah, that's where I got that from.
Yeah, it is full of that. And yet, as I get older, Jeff, we need to turn Lena down a tiny little bit. It sounds like she's talking to a kid's microphone when she gets excited. Okay. As I get
like the opposite problem that I normally have.
Yeah. Blarg, I am a kraken from the sea still comes up a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. I was telling Jeff I used to get yelled at as a kid for saying that all the time because my grandma didn't understand like what it was from. And she'd be like, why are you saying that? That makes no sense.
Elliot Page, throughout that film, he just has like funny line after funny line that I've quoted my entire life. And yet, when I watch that movie now, the funniest line in that movie, bar none, and I had to age into understanding why it's the funniest line, is when the dude is like, oh, so are you staying in a hotel? And the dude's like, actually, I got a loft. And he's saying it in this way of just like, I got a loft. Like, and she just looks at him and she's like, well, aren't you just the cool guy? And I just die laughing.
It's so funny time. Every time. But like, that movie does such a good job of like, and even now as an adult, there's like this pang of just like, if that guy acted differently, there would be a version of me that was like, well, why does he have to keep his stuff in boxes? Like, why can't he be himself or whatever? But because he's doing it in that way of like, I'm going to, and you know, it's pretty much implied that the I forgot her name. I feel bad. What's her name?
Vanessa,
yeah. Yep. You know Vanessa is not like dancing around what she wants. Like, she has been forward about what she's wanted. She has been vocal about what she has wanted. So it's not like he didn't know.
And he has gone along with it because he thinks he is like supposed to, or he's getting stuff out of it, but he doesn't want those things, and it's so shitty. But yeah, that's a good movie to bring up in context of this conversation, because it's like, we don't know what we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know what this. I remember when I was a kid, and my parents watched a lot of Dr. Phil. There was like a Dr. Phil special episode where they like brought on all of these husbands that were trying to make it, and that were spending all these hours and hours and hours not working, but like doing these like things that they were like, no, I'm going to make it in this career as a rapper or as a composer or as everything. And in a very reality TV kind of way, it was interesting because Dr. Phil was like, sounds good, buddies. I'm going to bring, for the composer guy, he brought like in somebody that like to critique his work and say whether he could make it as a composer or not. And he like brought people in to be like, to basically be like, dude, you're fine, but you're not. And that special has lived in my brain my entire life. And I will forever remember, it's probably what stopped me from pursuing being a composer, weirdly enough, because I will forever remember that dude who's like, I want to be a composer. And he would just, everything he did was just arpeggios. And like, they brought a guy on who hires film composers, and he was just like, he's like, dude, this doesn't do anything interesting. It's all arpeggio. This guy was spending like, it was all these wives that are like, please help me.
Yeah.
I'm married to this person who like is spending their entire life trying to make it in something, and they need to like accept the fact that like they need to go get a big boy job, and like,
yeah.
And like simultaneously it's like part of the fucked up piece of like capitalism that it's like, I still think we don't live in this world, but I still think we should live in a world where if someone has an artistic passion, they should just be able to pursue it.
Yeah, whether they're good at it, bad at it, whatever. Whether
Yep.
they're like absolutely flopping, it doesn't matter. I think that people should have the room to do that, and I think it's fucked up that we live in a society where we can't do that, and then it's like on the people in the relationship to kind of like, if the other person is like how you're saying, like they were on Dr. Phil and like the wives were basically like, please help, because like he's not like he doesn't live in reality.
You're right.
And it's like, but I think, I don't know, like I think if you are passionate about something, you should be able to do it. And it really does make me sad that.
But even if we lived in a world that we don't live in, even if we lived in a Star Trek world, right? Where like there was no capitalism, everyone's needs were met for, and like it was everyone's pursuits that just, you know, you could pursue being an artist and either make it or not, but like you didn't have to worry about like food and shelter and stuff, which is like the Star Trek dream, right? Even if we lived in that world, there is at some point where if you are in a partnered relationship, your pursuit of these things at a certain point like is irresponsible. Not like in totality, but like Shiki said, you do need to spend some time with your partner.
Yeah, like
you
water that relationship too.
You do need to share in the household responsibilities of washing dishes, taking the trash out.
Yeah.
Like even if you eliminate money from the equation.
Yeah, there's other things that you're still at least somewhat obligated morally to pay attention to.
Or not be in a partnership.
Yeah.
If you're someone who's like, I need to make it or break, like I need to.
This is all I want in life, and if I don't get that, like it will be.
Then you need to get that, and then think about getting in a relationship.
Yeah.
You don't get to like drag someone else into that life promising that you'll be an equal partner, and then it turns out you're not. So it's complicated. But yeah, people should be able to pursue art. Am I the asshole for refusing to meet my grandchild without my wife present?
Again, what?
I, 56-year-old male, have a daughter, 24-year-old female, who had her first baby 8 months ago and who I have not met yet.
Why?
My daughter's mother died just over a decade ago, and I met my now wife within a year, buddy. Since then, my daughter and wife have had a very strained relationship.
Well, yes.
I think it comes down to the fact that my wife was a stay-at-home mother to my daughter and her son from a previous relationship, so she was very involved in the parenting of my daughter, which I don't think she liked. My daughter has disrespected my wife and her authority many times over the years. We ended up kicking her out of the home a week after her 18th birthday due to the fact that my wife wanted her to take the pill over fears of her getting pregnant, and she refused. My daughter said she was an adult and didn't want her body to be controlled, despite us. You don't get to tell an 18-year-old to take a pill or not.
No, you can be like, hey, this would be helpful or not helpful, because fuck birth control. Like, well, not fuck birth control, but like the things hormonally that birth control did to me as a teenager, like, it's probably a good thing I was on it, but like, also that shit fucks with your hormones. So you need to like know and be like aware, and having somebody tell you, hey, you're taking this pill, and not have any education or any like information about it. That's not really fair. And also, yeah, she's 18, so she can do what.
I mean, I suppose you also have the rights to kick them out, but that all of that sucks. I believe that she stayed with some friends before meeting her boyfriend and moving in with him. I have had limited contact with my daughter since she turned 18, and she has had zero contact with my wife. When we found out my daughter was pregnant, my wife was so excited and bought clothes and other gifts for the baby and sent them in the mail. We received no thanks from my daughter. 2 weeks before the baby was born, I contacted her and told her that my wife and I would come down to help her with the baby after it was born. My daughter refused our help and said she would only be comfortable if I came. My wife was very upset and felt excluded and said my daughter was being rude, especially after she bought gifts for the baby. I told my daughter I would not come unless my wife was present, to which my daughter replied that it was my decision to make, as she had made her boundary clear. After this conversation, we did not speak for many months. A month ago, I texted my daughter and asked if she wanted to come and stay with her aunt who lives nearby, hoping it would open the door for me and my wife to meet the baby. She said she wouldn't be comfortable with that, but that she would be happy for me to come alone to meet the baby. I reiterated that I would not come if she excluded my wife. She then said that she did not want my wife in her or her baby's life, and that my wife had emotionally abused her as a teenager. I think this is a horrible accusation, which I do not believe to be true. She also accused me of failing to support her or protect her from my wife. I do not know what I would have been protecting her from, as my wife is very kind to my daughter. I've not spoken to my daughter since then and have given up hope that things will ever change. I feel my daughter has put me in an impossible situation where I'm forced to choose between my wife and her. I want to remain loyal to my wife, and I resent my daughter for putting me in this position. I don't understand why she can't just move on and include my wife in this happy time of her life.
9 times out of 10, usually, this is just like coming from maybe not personal experience, but just like what I've witnessed. If a kid goes no contact with like one of their parents or one of their parental units, it's usually for good reason. Like I don't feel like parents I'm also a parent, so like, well, bonus parent, but whatever. Like,
yeah.
I don't think parents get that, like, it takes a lot to like push a kid away
To that level
where they won't talk to you or like want to be included in your life, or you included in their life in some way. Like, again, I don't know these people, so like I don't know if she's being over the top about like your wife emotionally abused me or what. Like, I don't know that, but like you don't get to necessarily like decide what her perception was, or like what her experience was. Like, that's between your daughter and your wife.
Snoopy says boundaries, respect them. The daughter's reality and perception of growing up is her own to create, and her boundaries within her life. It's that simple. Yeah, it's like, it doesn't, you don't see any of that as that way, which is clear. But you have to accept the fact that your kid does.
And if you want a relationship with your kid, you have to exclude your wife, which it's not, I guess it's excluding her, but like, she doesn't seem to really, from what the daughter is saying, doesn't seem to really like the daughter much anyway. So like, why is she being so like, I need to be a part of this?
My guess, as someone who has experienced very similar things, and this was the exact situation that forced like a full non-contact with my dad, was this exact situation.
Except he was the one who wanted to be included.
He was the one who wanted to be included.
Oh.
And then it was like, no, Mom, you can come, but not him.
Yeah.
And then they both barreled his way in, because it was just like, well, I should get to be, it was very just like,
that's crazy,
this is ridiculous. And then it was like, I didn't talk to him ever again. I was just done.
Yeah.
Because it was like, we've set all these boundaries, and it's like, you've decided that they don't apply to you, and then we're just done. And it's tough. She said, I love when people come to Am I the Asshole just to hope they find other degenerates. They suck. Trying to force your adult child into something they don't want to, then kicking them out for saying no is already a big red flag. Then when she gets pregnant, which you were trying to keep her from doing, you try to reinsert yourself into her life. Conditional love, bud. Get therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you're just, I don't know, man, my kid's mom did not die, but the care in which I introduced people that I was dating to my children, and the time when it was like, it looked like Selena was about to move in at some point in the future. We started going on like family dates, basically, where it's like, let's all, and that was after years of us.
Yeah, I didn't meet your kids until, like, I met them in like passing occasionally, but it was never like, this is Selena and she is my girlfriend. It was just like
that's my friend Selena. Yeah.
But probably like, I think we met. I didn't meet your kids till 2021.
Yeah, so it was.
So, and it's like, granted, we might have done it a little earlier if we'd been spending more time together in 2020, but like, I still think like that was the right move, is to slowly, like, because you don't, like, people like tend to forget that, like, not people, but like parents almost tend to forget that, like, as a kid who literally met my mom's new boyfriend like every single time my mom got a new boyfriend, and I'm not saying any of them were like mean or terrible or whatever. I mean, there was a few that were not great humans, but like,
it's just crazy.
I just met them so fast, and then it would be like months later, it'd be like, hey, this is blah blah blah, I'm dating him now, and it's like, there was no like buffer, there was no like, hey, are you comfortable with this?
That was my biggest red flag, that if I were like talking to someone and they were like, oh, we should do a play date with our kids and stuff, I would stop talking to them so quickly. I would just be like, nah.
And it's like, it's not even necessarily that they meant it in that way, but it is just so like, you need to consider how these kids are going to like,
well, if they're not being careful with their own kids, they're not going to be careful with my kids.
Yeah.
And so like, what are we doing? It's like, not to say whatever, but like, women with kids should be far more careful than dudes with kids, because statistically you're more likely to have a problem with a dude coming in. Like, you should be so careful about introducing a new dude. Like, Jesus Christ. And it was like so many times where it'd be like I would meet, there's so many people that I dated that I met their kids, but they never met mine. And it was like always like was like, okay, why weren't you more care? I was always so surprised and so
Yeah.
I just don't understand it. Snoopy says it should be a grown-up conversation with the father and the wife. My daughter doesn't feel like she wants you in her life. That is her decision. In order for me to have a relationship with her and my grandchildren, I need to respect that boundary. I know this might make you feel, but this is her decision, not mine. Yeah.
This is probably like a hot take or whatever, and like this is different than an adult child having this boundary, and like if you have like a relationship with your adult child. But if any of your kids had a problem with me, I would be thrown if you didn't be like, hey, like, and I'm not saying you're gonna like kick me out or something, but if they're like, we don't like Selena or whatever, which is not the case, but like if like
outside of normal teenage.
Yeah, but like it's like our middle kid has literally been like, Dad, if you ever break up with Selena, we're just going with Selena. But in all seriousness, like I would expect you to take their side. Granted, like even if they were like, because kids' emotions are especially teenagers, they're like growing and learning. But I would still want you to make sure that they felt like you were listening to them and like they were being heard.
Yeah.
Even if I
mean,
like,
end of the day, why any of us are here is like a hard thing for all of us to sort out. But like the clearest responsibility I have is like as a dad is like 100% the like, oh yeah, that's on me. And not only on me in a way of just like, yeah, I've got these 3 kids and I have to make sure they make it through high school and I have to make sure they get launched well, but also like
launched well. Like they're like a game.
Yeah.
It's launch day.
But also like I'm whatever fuckery they do when they're out there in the world, which they're going to, because all of us do, right? I feel somewhat responsible for.
Yeah.
And that is like the clearest like breakdown. Now if like I am sympathetic to like, homie's wife died. He probably was not doing well in about 10 other ways. He obviously is happy with this lady that his kids were not happy with, or at least this kid was not happy with. But like
also they met a year after her mom died.
Yeah, man. Like
you have to consider her perspective here. Like you just have to. And you're not, and that's the problem. Like I'm not saying you didn't go through a tragic event, but your kids did too. Their mom died. Their mom. And they needed a dad, and you were worried about what you were going through. Like that fucking sucks. Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, it's not fair. Like you should get to like go through the loss of your wife and like feel those feelings and make those mistakes that come from feeling those feelings and not have to. But like, sorry, but you have kids, and
you are
part of having kids
for caring for those tiny humans.
Yeah, part of having kids is your life is now never going to be fair because they always come first. So, Jesus, grow the fuck up. How old are you? 56? You're 56 years old, and you're coming on Reddit.
He shouldn't. To his defense, most 56-year-olds don't know how to use a computer, so he's on the right path there, I guess. But
just it doesn't take much to be like, hey, like, I'm sorry I didn't handle this well. I'm sorry that you guys have a bad relationship. It's my wife that, like, it sounds like you guys are just like bursting over boundaries and like acting entitled over and over and over again. It doesn't sound like a lot of conversations have been happening.
No.
Like,
it's not a moth, it's a fly. Sorry, I just realized that the moth that I thought was flying around was actually flying.
Okay. By the way,
I heard it buzzing.
by the way,
By the way.
We have a YouTube channel. It's that putting a lot of work right now into trying to get my Final Fantasy 2 video done. I need Selena to go off on more adventures so I have time to edit. If you just let me hire an editor.
Okay. I don't know how much editors are.
Stevie says, what was the base am I the asshole question on that one? That was, am I the asshole for refusing to meet my grandchild without my wife present?
Also, now you're dissing on your grandchild. Like, your grandchild's not going to know their pop. Because you can't untangle yourself from wife.
The answer is yes. Yeah. There's a link to Whatnot. We're live there every Saturday night, 8 to 10. It has turned into, so like we're trying desperately to get up to 1,000 transactions on there. So that we can get instant payouts on there. Which means it's turned into a show where we're giving away a lot of stuff for $1. So if you want a lot of cool comics for dirt cheap, come hang out every Saturday night, 8 to 10. Or just hang out and BS because, like, you know, it makes the 2 hours pass by better. Every Wednesday night, we're also live. We'll be there tomorrow night on the Rad Raptor Facebook page. So you can hang out there. And then we'll be back here Thursday morning with me playing Final Fantasy, and Friday morning with Selena playing Hollow Knight. Sam says, thank you for the stream. Sorry, I was running back to where I left off in Lion King. You're all good. We're going to head over to you because I believe you're going to be going on stuff and you're doing charity. So, of course, we're going to be heading over there. We have, unless the schedule has changed, just a minute. Okay, that's fine. I will put raid messages down. They look like this. And pre-catching a video before I press the button. No sweat. We have raid messages. They look like that if you aren't subscribed, and that if you are. We're going to be heading over to Sam in a second, who is raising money for charity. And it's Sam. We love Sam. So please, if you can. Normally it's just like, hey, we're going over there. Come in and say hi if you can, hang out. But because it is a charity stream, if you can, even if you can leave your stream lurking, all that stuff is helpful. Just to kind of get numbers and eyeballs and everything else. Because even if you're not in a position to give money, which a lot of us are not these days, right? It still is helpful because the fact that you're there might help the algorithm putting it in front of somebody who can, and then the charity will get the help that it needs. So very helpful. We're going to head over there. Be honest, be kind, and be useful. Live a good fucking life. Apparently it is my 16-month sub anniversary with Sam, which is insane.
Yay, happy anniversary.
Yeah. I just spammed the thing before we went in there, but